What's up, guys? I'm the only one stirring here at the moment, so I figured we could go on and knock out another section of the CD collection. We are still on the D's, going to be on the D's for a little bit. Just moving into it. First up, we have Devin Townsend project. This is Deconstruction, the slipcase. It came out, I think, in 2011. This one is kind of reminiscent of some of his material. It has not the whole album, but it has a lot of kind of remnants of that strapping young lad persona of Devin Townsend. These Devin Townsend projects albums, there are so many releases out. He's done so much. It's impossible to keep up with all the material that he's put out through these, but I do own a few of them. This one I thought was pretty good. I enjoyed both of the albums that were released in 2011. Deconstruction, I really dug that one. And probably my favorite Devin Townsend project is Ghost. Surprisingly, I still have the slipcase. Had that upside down. It's kind of looks the same both ways. Surprisingly, I still have the slipcase on both of these. I can't believe that it has not been lost over the years. I absolutely adore this album. Not metal in the slightest. It's just kind of ambience. It's kind of got that harmonious kind of background music going on. It's very very good mood music, and I dig this one quite a bit. This one has gotten a ton of playtime over the years. Just when I kind of need to zone out and have some time to myself and my thoughts, it's something great to just to put on and kind of get lost in. And I absolutely love that release. There is one other Devin Townsend project album that I don't own. I think it's called Key that I really want. I don't have that one, unfortunately. And then the last one that I own is Epic Cloud from Devin. This one is over the top. It almost has like some church hymns sounding material going on this. It's pretty neat. I don't know. This one came out in 2012, so it's been out about 10 years now, but this one grew on me a little bit. I wasn't super into it when it first was released, but over the years it's kind of grown on me. So I may at some point dig a little deeper into the Devin Townsend project material and discography. But there's so many albums and so much material out there. It's kind of overwhelming if you want to backtrack or go find your way and kind of dig a little deeper into that. Next up, we have some brutal death metal. This is Devouring Humanity, and I think this is self-titled from what I remember. This is California, kind of grindy, brutal death metal from what I remember. I don't remember just a ton about this, but it is heavy, heavy stuff. I remember digging it for what it was. There we go. Kind of just brutal artwork on that, as you would expect from this kind of brutal. I think there may be a little bit of technicality going on in this, but I think it's more leans into that brutal death metal, death grind realm. If my memory is serving me correctly, that's kind of what I remember from that. We have some slamming brutal death metal. This is a Devourment with Molesting the Decapitated. This was the reissue from Corpse Gristle. Unfortunately, it's in this little Echo wallet. I hate these. I've kind of made up my mind that I'm going to quit purchasing from Corpse Gristle CDs anyway if they're in these little fold out wallets. I'm not a fan of these at all. It kind of feels like a bit of a cash grab, and I just can't get behind it. I mean, that was an album that I really wanted, so I went ahead and jumped on it. If there's another release that I've been like hunting and trying to get so hard, I would almost rather just fork out money and buy a bootleg than purchase another little wallet like this, to be quite honest. And then we have Conceived in Sewage from Devourment. That's actually the only two Devourment releases that I own. I Conceived in Sewage, a lot of people didn't like this one. I thought it was all right. This one is a it's got a hole punch in the barcode. I got this in a grab bag. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I've actually spent more time with it than I would have expected. So pretty good. Relapse Records release there. Next up, we have some thrashy death metal. This is Deucented with Impact. I believe this band's out of Germany. I could be wrong on that. That's where I'm thinking that they come out of. Seems like I've owned more of their material at one point or another, but this is the only release that I have in my collection now. This is actually really good. I like Impact. I may have to backtrack and sort and try to find some more of their other albums at some point. I may have traded them in the past. That tends to be that remorse. Sometimes you have albums and then trade them off or sell them, and then years later you get into the band or get into the project, and you're like, man, I wish I would have kept my hands on those albums. Voice is already going, and we're 5 minutes in. That's not good. All right. Next up, a little bit of change of pace. This is some hip hop, some white boy hip hop. This is a band off of Suburban Noise. I saw them back in 2008, maybe. Play with Head PE. This is DGAF, and this is just self-titled DGAF. They were pretty fun. Watching them live, I enjoyed watching them, so I went ahead and picked up a CD from them, kind of support them on their tour. They signed the CD for me. Not my normal what I'm going to lean to. It's not something that I'm going to pull off the shelf forever, but for what it is, it was a fun album, and it was a fun concert, so went ahead and picked that up to support those guys. Next up, we have some Tampa death metal, old school death metal. This is Diabolic, and Diabolic has several albums and releases, and it seems like I have two of the weaker releases, physical releases that they have in their discography, but they aren't bad, but there's just some stronger material out there. I guess I'll put it that way. These aren't bad. They still get playtime, so don't get me wrong and think that I'm knocking these releases, because I'm not. This is Diabolic. This has two EPs. This has Chaos in Hell and Possessed in Death EPs, like a double disc with both EPs on it. Pretty good stuff. I like the former. I like the Chaos in Hell EP a bit more, but they're both pretty decent little slabs of death metal. It's not, full length worthy, but it is, for what it is, it's pretty good. I did enjoy this, so I just know that there's some other full lengths in the discography that I like a bit more than what I actually own on a physical format. And then I have a Diabolic with Excisions of Exorcisms. I just knew I was going to get tongue tied on that album title. I love the artwork. I think that artwork is what draws me into to maybe give this more spins than it maybe deserves. This was released on Deathgasm Records. I think I got this in a Deathgasm grab bag. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. Please don't think of it that I'm knocking it at all. I do enjoy the album. I just know that there's at least one more full length in the discography that I like musically a bit more than what I actually own on a physical format. So maybe I will rectify that one day. I've said that about three bands already that I need to pick up more material when I have all of this stuff to listen to already. Next up, more death metal. Go figure. We have Diabolic Force with Praise of Satan, occult death metal on Hell's Headbangers. I guess it's a pretty fitting band to be on Hell's Headbangers with a album title like that. Pretty good. Pretty raunchy, in your face, blistering death metal. At one point, I believe I had the LP, the vinyl of this, and I put it in that. I think I either did a VCLT or did it in that giveaway, that big giveaway that we had. I don't remember. I don't have it on vinyl anymore, but at one point I actually owned that on two formats. Next up, we have some blackened death metal, black metal out. I believe this band's out of Texas. This is Diabolus Amateur with The Dawn of New Flame. This is actually pretty solid. It looks very DIY just from the looks of it. It was released on Occult Roots Music, but that artwork could be kind of. It looks a little bit better on camera than what it looks in person. I don't know, just the way that it's printed is kind of off-putting for me. I'm not sure, but the album is much better than the presentation would have you think it is. This is actually some pretty good black metal, black and death metal. I think it's a one man. Yeah, it looks like right there, one man project. But good stuff there, and I'm pretty sure it's out of Texas. Um, I don't know, but that's where my mind is telling me it's early. Next up, I picked this up from Life After Death, and one of the many orders that I purchased from Life After Death last year. This is Diamanthian with Arcana Doctrina. This was released originally back in 2009 through Ossuary Industries. A pretty interesting take on death metal here. It has those old school kind of thrashy elements going on, but they kind of have their own sound going as well. This was released in 2009, so it's not like that modern wave of old school death metal that we have going on right now. The teeth inside this jewel case somehow got busted. Not sure how that happened, so I'll just have to hold that up like there. I will set this to the side and fix that case before it goes back on the shelf. Make some room. Next up, another Hell's Headbangers release. This is Diabolos with You Live to Now Die. Very cheesy sounding, but this is a fun album. I enjoy this quite a bit. I think I got this on one of the Hell's Headbangers always has some kind of CD sale going, either like 10 CDs for so much, or 5 CDs for so much, or even like at Black Friday they had like the $3 CDs. I got this in one of those sales. It is a fun listen. It is very dark stuff, obviously, as a lot of stuff on that roster is. But I enjoyed this one. I thought I don't know. There was something just fun about that. I mean, you can't look at that cheesy. Almost has that 80s horror vibe going on in that. You can't look at that and not know that you're getting in for a good time. So next up we have some metalcore. This is Diecast with Day of Reckoning and Undo the Wicked double disc. It has the Day of Reckoning album and Undo the Wicked EP on this. Decent slab of metalcore. Not something that I'm going to pull off the shelf every day and listen to. It has its place in the collection. It is the only Diecast release that I own. Still has the little Century Media promo flyer in there that shows you how much playtime that this one gets. I got this one, I think, in a stack from eBay. I could be wrong. There's the second disc. I don't really remember. I don't remember where I picked this one up, to be completely honest. But I mean, for what it is, it's not bad. But I mean, if you're not into metalcore, obviously you're probably not going to appreciate that. Next up, we have some deathcore. This is A Different Breed of Killer with I Colossus. Pretty solid slab of deathcore here. I got this from a Secret Santa back in several years ago. I'm in a Facebook group that did like these secret. They called them Secret Satan, where you got some, like, you pick someone, well, randomly got picked someone and traded albums and stuff with, and a guy that picked me sent me this album along with some other stuff, but that one is a good solid slab of core music there that was delivered to me in that Secret Santa package. Next up, we have some death metal out of Russia. This is Dig Me No Grave with Under the Pyramids. This one's solid as well. I picked this one up from Life After Death. I believe I actually got this in the same order that I did the Diamanthian release as well. If not, it was right around that same time period. I did several Life After Death orders last year, so it could have come in any of them, but I think it may have been in that same order. Good, solid death metal out of Russia. I dig this one. Has some technicality going on in this. A little bit of a mix of technical and brutal style of death metal. Next up, one that you won't see this often, an album that I have not even taken out of the package. I've given this album away I don't know how many times, and it always finds itself back into my collection. So I just I said, you know what, the cosmos, the universe is trying to have this album here for one reason or another. I'm going to leave it here. Maybe one day I will take it off the shelf and give this band another chance and appreciate it. So it just sits on the shelf in the wrapping. This is the Dillinger Escape Plan with option Paralysis. I know I've given probably 5 copies of this away, and it haunts me to this day. I saw this band live, and I I was on the fence with them going into the concert, and I saw them live, and it was not for me. I'm not knocking it if I'm not knocking the band or the people that enjoy this band. I mean, obviously they have a big enough following that following that they're doing something right, and they're very talented with what they do. It just wasn't for me, and I wasn't impressed with the live show. And I had a couple of their other releases. I either traded those or sold those or gave them away after the show. I don't remember. And I got this in several grab bags, and I keep on giving it away and rehoming it, and it just keeps coming back. So I finally just gave up. It's on the shelf. Maybe one day I will give them another shot, but for now it just sits there on the shelf in plastic. Next up, we have some more death metal out of, I believe this band is out of France. This is a kind of brutal death metal, little bit of technical aspects going on in this as well. This is Diluvian with Inhumanity Remains. This is their debut EP. This was my introduction into Diluvian. I'm not sure if they're still around or not, but I did enjoy this EP enough to pick up their following full length as well. I believe I purchased this from Redstream back some time ago, and I was completely into that, and I hunted down this one. I think I may have gotten both of these from Redstream. I think I got them both from eBay at some point. This is Diluvian with their debut full length Epidemic, and I don't know if they have anything else out after that. This was a very solid. I enjoyed this, and I think maybe the band disbanded because I haven't seen any other releases from them since this. But just technical, brutal death metal. You don't really, when I think of brutal death metal, France generally does not come to mind, but this is a killer band out of France. Next up, we have Dimension Zero with Silent Night Fever. This has Jesper from In Flames. It has a couple of guys from In Flames, or ex-In Flames, and then one of the members of Marduk. It's kind of melodic, death metal, thrashy type stuff. This is Dimension Zero with Silent Night Fever. Pretty good. I actually, when I picked this up, I was thinking it was from a different band. There was something that I was remembering in my mind when I purchased this, and this was not it. But I like this for what it was. It was kind of one of those, pleasant mistakes. I don't know if they have any other material out or not. This was released on Century Media, so they may have some other releases under the belt. Very, very accessible, kind of mainstream sound going on this, but for what it was pretty good. It was one of those, well, it wasn't what I expected it to be, but I enjoy it nonetheless. Next up, I think all of the rest of these are going to be of the same band. They may or may not be in chronological order. Sometimes I try to keep the albums and stuff in order, but this band has a lot of releases. If you're not into this band, you can probably go ahead and cut this video off because you're not going to like anything that's left. And this band will actually continue on until the next video. First up, we have Dimmu Borgir with For All Tid. I don't know if it's For All Tid or For All Tide. I've never figured. I've always called it For All Tid. So if I'm wrong with that, I apologize. It wouldn't be the first album title that I've mispronounced during this whole series. So I just kind of get used to it. But pretty good release. I like this one. It has a bit more of a raw sound than some of the other demo material. Next up, we have Spiritual Black Dimensions. I have a lot that are just the front insert and the actual disc. I'm not sure why that is. I've had these for so long. Something happened in the past where the cases were lost or something, but I can't remember. These have been in my possession. The ones that are in this have been in these little slimline cases have been in my possession so long, for so many years, that there's no telling. My brain is just mush when those memories come up. We have Dimmu Borgir with Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, which is actually my favorite Dimmu release. I love this album. I've been kind of revisiting this one as of late. At some point, I may just go back, even if it's a reissue copy, and pick up a full, uh, a, a complete, I guess, a complete copy that has the back insert and everything. I know it's kind of a minor gripe. I mean, I got the meat and potatoes of the release right there, but just like the collector and hoarder in me, kind of wants that completion of that album. And then we have a Godless Savage Garden. That's probably one of my favorite artworks. I know that might not be a popular opinion with that. I don't know what it is about that. It's kind of cheesy looking, but for some reason that artwork on that one, uh, there's something about it that just draws me in. I don't know if it's the boobs. That's possible, but there's something about that artwork that I don't know. It's a little bit different than some of their other artworks. Then we have Alive in Torment. This is the shaped disc. I'll actually take this one out of the case for those of you that haven't seen this one. I'm sure most of you have probably already seen this in one place or another, but it's just a little live EP. But that's the actual CD. It's pretty neat that it's on the little shape disc. I own a few shape discs that we will hit throughout this CD collection. This was released in 2001, and they had to put the little disclaimer that says "Do not play it in car stereos." So most cars these days don't even have CD players anymore. Next up, we have the split that Demu did with Old Man's Child. I think there's one track from Demu and either two or three from Old Man's Child on this, but the Devil's Path song from Demu on this is actually pretty good. So I don't know if I showed the disc. Not much to that one. Next up, we have Stormblast. I'm not going to open this one up because I already know this inside part of this portion of this case is busted up, and I don't want everything falling everywhere. Generally, I will change these out, but this is in that kind of 2-disc. It's got that special inside for the 2-disc. This has the Stormblast album, and then it has a DVD with the 2004 Ozfest performance on this. So I don't even know if I've ever even watched the DVD, but I only pull the CD out when I'm going to play it, just to try to keep from busting this up anymore. It just got absolutely destroyed in transit when I ordered this, and I just haven't ever replaced that case. Next up, we have Demu Borgir with Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. This is another album that I really enjoy. A lot of people don't like this one as much. I think this is kind of when they felt like Demu went the more accessible, like sellout route. I can kind of see why someone would think that, but I spent a lot of time with this album. Early 2000s, spent a ton of time with this release, so I think that's why this one is just the front insert and CD as well. And then the last one for this video is the Insort Diabolic. This was one that I know a lot of people hated. It's not my favorite release in their discography whatsoever. They went a much more almost melodic sound on this. I know it turned a lot of people off. I was kind of on the fence with it when I first heard it. It's grown on me over the years. This is just one of those bands that's just kind of one of my bands that they could. It's about like Immortal and let's see who else. There's a couple bands like Dark Throne. I mean, whatever they put out, I'm probably going to enjoy just out of principle, even if it sounds different than what I'd previously grown accustomed to hearing. It's just that they're so talented and they've been doing it so long. They know how to compose it, and no matter what style of music they're doing, it still sounds good. Demo's kind of gone that route of the Cradle of Filth, where it's not so much black metal anymore. It just kind of has that extreme metal feel. But for what it was, that's not a bad release. I mean, I know some people would be like, yeah, that is a bad release, but I liked it okay. So that's all for this one. I will try to get another one up hopefully before the end of the week, and maybe we can get out of the D's before the end of the month. So that's all for today. I will see you guys soon. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff, and yeah, that's it.